Welcome to FluentFlow English. Welcome back to FluentFlow English. I'm Ryan, and as always, I'm here with my amazing co-host, Emma.
Hey everyone, it's such a joy to have you here again. Today's episode is special. It's about something we all need, but often forget. Learning to love yourself.
Yeah, before we can love anyone else or truly feel fulfilled, we have to love ourselves first. And for many people, that's the hardest lesson to learn.
Absolutely. We live in a world where people keep telling us to do more, achieve more, look better, be better. But very few remind us that you're already enough, just as you are.
So today, we're slowing things down. Take a deep breath, and let's talk about what it really means to love yourself. Not just in words, but in your daily life, your habits, and your thoughts.
Segment 1. What is self-love? Let's start simple. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and said, "I'm proud of you"? We tell others good job, but how often do we tell it to ourselves?
That's so true. Self-love starts with recognition, acknowledging your effort, even when no one else does. You don't need to wait until you're successful to love yourself. Love yourself now, while you're learning, growing, and figuring things out.
When people hear self-love, they often think it's just confidence or positivity. But it's deeper than that. It's acceptance. It's saying, I'm okay with my flaws, my fears, and my imperfections.
Exactly. Because no one's perfect. And trying to be perfect all the time, that's what exhausts so many people. When you stop chasing perfection and start celebrating progress, that's when peace begins.
Yes, and loving yourself doesn't mean you ignore your mistakes. It means you love yourself through your mistakes. You stay kind, even when you fall short.
Segment 2. The story of Alex. Let me share a story. A few years ago, I met a young man named Alex. He was smart, hardworking, and spoke English pretty well, but he constantly compared himself to others. If someone spoke better than him, he'd feel embarrassed. If someone succeeded faster, he'd feel like a failure.
I think we've all been there at some point.
Exactly. But one day, Alex made a decision. He stopped comparing. He stopped apologizing for being himself. Instead, every morning he asked just one question. What's one small thing I can do today to make myself proud? That single question changed everything. His confidence grew, his English improved, and for the first time he was truly happy. Not because he was perfect, but because he was at peace.
That's so beautiful. And that's what self-love does. It doesn't give you a new life. It helps you see the life you already have differently. Segment 3. The role of self-love in learning. Let's connect this to something our listeners care about, learning English. When you love yourself, you become patient with your journey. You stop saying, "I'm bad at English," and start saying, "I'm learning English."
Yes, because self-love removes pressure and adds passion. When you believe in yourself, you practice more, you enjoy the process more, and you stop being afraid of mistakes.
We tell our students all the time, fluency isn't about perfection. It's about consistency, confidence, and compassion.
Exactly. When you treat yourself kindly, you build resilience. And resilience makes you unstoppable.
Segment 4. Self-love versus selfishness. I think many people confuse self-love with selfishness. They feel guilty for saying no or for putting themselves first.
You're right, but real self-love is the opposite of selfishness. When you love yourself, you have more love to give others. It's like filling a cup. You can't pour into others if your cup is empty.
Exactly. When you're kind to yourself, you show up better, more calm, more patient, more understanding.
That's why people who truly love themselves often radiate peace. They don't seek validation. They already have it inside.
Segment 5. The hardest part? Forgiveness. Now, Ryan, I think one of the hardest parts of self-love is forgiveness.
Ah, yes. Forgiving yourself. That's something we all struggle with. We replay mistakes like old songs we can't stop listening to.
Yes, but here's the truth. You can't heal if you keep reopening the same wound.
Forgive yourself for not knowing better before you learned. Forgive yourself for trying and failing. Forgive yourself for being human. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing peace over pain.
And when you do that, you breathe easier. You stop fighting your past and start living in your present. Segment 6. Setting boundaries. Another part of self-love is boundaries. Loving yourself means saying no to things that drain your peace. Exactly. So many people say yes to everything, afraid to disappoint others, but in doing so, they disappoint themselves. Setting boundaries isn't rude, it's healthy. You can't say yes to growth if you're always saying yes to stress. Beautifully said. And that includes online life too. Take breaks from social media. Don't compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. Right. Comparison kills confidence. Love grows in silence, reflection, and gratitude, not endless scrolling. Segment 7. Listener story, Maria. You know, Ryan, this reminds me of an email from one of our listeners, Maria. She said she felt embarrassed about her accent when speaking English. She wrote, "People might laugh at me." And I told her, your accent is your story. It's not something to hide. It's proof you're brave enough to learn. I love that, because that's exactly what self-love is. Owning your uniqueness. There's only one you in this entire world, and that's your power. Segment 8. The energy you give yourself. Here's something many people forget. You teach others how to treat you by how you treat yourself. Yes, if you keep putting yourself down, others might start believing you're not worth respect. But when you carry yourself with love, you set the standard. That confidence, that peace, it's magnetic. It attracts the right people, opportunities, and love that matches your energy. Segment 9. Practical self-love habits. Okay, Ryan, let's make this practical. Let's give our listeners some easy ways to practice self-love every day. Great idea! Here are 5 simple but powerful ones. 1. Start your day with kindness. Before checking your phone, say one kind thing about yourself. It could be, "I'm grateful for my effort," or "I'm doing my best." 2. Practice gratitude. Write down 3 things you're thankful for, even small ones like good coffee or sunshine. 3. Take care of your body. Drink water, sleep enough. Move your body with love, not punishment. 4. Forgive yourself daily. Don't carry yesterday's mistakes into today. 5. Do something that makes your soul happy. Listen to music, draw, walk outside, anything that fills your heart. And here's my favorite. Speak gently to yourself. Your mind believes what you tell it most often, so tell it the truth. You are enough. Segment 10. The closing message. As we wrap up today, remember this. You can't pour love into others if your own heart is empty. Love yourself, not because you're flawless, but because you're growing. Yes, you deserve the same kindness and love you give others. You don't need permission to feel worthy. You already are. You don't have to be perfect to deserve rest, joy, or peace. You just have to be human. Thank you for listening to FluentFlow English. If this episode touched your heart, tell us in the comments. What's one thing you love about yourself? And if you're learning English while becoming the best version of yourself, subscribe and share this podcast with your friends, because love and learning grow when we share them. Until next time, keep learning, keep loving, and keep your English flowing.